RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody Happy Hour.
Well, hello there, bloody friends.
Oh, are we starting?
We're starting.
Oh my gosh. April. Here we
Have you poured your whiskey yet?
I don't know. It's so hot outside.
Yeah.
I melted on the way here.
That's why you have Gatorade?
That's why I had to get Gatorade to hydrate. And I was like, I just have whiskey, so do I mix them? Obviously.
Sure. And that's why you're real red like your microphone.
Yeah, because I melted on the way here, and now I'm still melting because, you know, it's really hot in this room, but that's fine. I'm fine.
It's real fine.
So I'm hydrating with my Gatorade.
Caroline's
Gentleman Jack.
Got the Gentleman Jack today.
Yep.
With some lemon lime Gatorade. That's always my go-to Gatorade. And I rushed over here and I got a mango citrus Corona refresher that I had to stop in the hood and get.
Well,
and so I'm brown paper bagging it. So
I'm kind of upset you didn't get me one in a brown paper bag.
I just knew you would talk bad about me.
Well, I would have joined you after I talked bad.
So, look, when you hear that noise, it's my hood rat koozie.
Oh, yeah, you're a real hood right now.
I love it. Ooh, I'm doing it because Juneteenth is this weekend.
Can we celebrate?
This.
Are we celebrating?
Yeah. What are we going to do at the show for Juneteenth?
I don't know.
Do you even know what it means?
Don't do blackface.
Don't do blackface at all.
Juneteenth means that's whenever Texas said that there's no more slaves.
Yeah, but almost, I think, Swippy tries to tell me every year, I think it was already like abolished and slaves were free, but
that's
Texas
where they
found out
when Texas,
like years later. So Texas only celebrates this.
Really?
Yes, because everybody else knew.
Well, since we're our own country.
Well, I guess just the Texas plantation owners were like, oh, we're not trying to pay for services yet. If they don't know, we ain't gonna tell them. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll edit this out if it's not right. Or leave it in, and the history people will be pissed off
says
at
it
us.
whenever it commemorates when Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston. It's a lot of G's. To inform enslaved African Americans that the Civil War had ended and they were free.
Oh. Okay.
June 19th. I don't know why they didn't just say it's June 19th. They call it Juneteenth.
Maybe because you can't remember if it's 18th or 19th. So it's just.
Well, if it's 16th or 17th.
It's
or
around
15th or 14th.
That's why you just say the 10th.
So it can count for any of those days.
Yes.
Well, it's a federal holiday, so I guess I'm off work.
Yeah. We're having a live show.
Oh, too bad it's on Sunday. I'm off work anyways. So I do have to give you an update.
Yeah.
This week, there has been some Amber Heard interviews. You thought I was done. Just when you thought I was done talking about.
I don't think you'll be done with that for a
Just
while.
when y'all thought it was over. It's really just beginning. So she's going on her interview tour where, well, this week she will have had, this is coming out when next? So by this time it'll be done. Anyways, bunch of different interviews with the Today Show, which it's all going to come out tomorrow, which is Friday, which
Okay.
is last week.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get your reaction on one of the things that she was asked about.
Okay.
Okay, so the interviewer, the Savannah, was asking her, she says, the Depp lawyer in closing arguments called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and that you were acting. What do you have to say to that? And her response was, says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers and I'm a performer? And like, that's exactly how she said it.
Period. And she
Period.
thought
She was like, and she had this
What?
she had a huge pause, like waited to get the reaction from the interview lady. No reaction, because she's probably like, lady. The lady's probably like, okay. No one believed that
he
he actually did. He was a semi-robot. I didn't realize this because I've seen Edward Scissorhands, but I didn't realize the actual, like, he was like a robot man who was created by this guy. But it's like,
so long.
He was raised in a mansion and he only came down because this Avon lady came up there, like came by the house and then tried to cover up all of his scars for him with her Avon makeup. And then he started cutting the bushes and cutting people's hair. No one thinks that that's actually Johnny Depp.
Real hands.
I mean, so did you even know about that?
So Soupy was like listening to something and I heard a little bit of it, but he was like, this bitch is crazy. And so when he said it, Amber Heard, I was like, oh, let me go back to my 2020 that I'm watching.
Oh, you were like over it.
Over it.
You said, I'm not listening to this. I have to hear all about it on the podcast, I'm sure.
I'm over it until they give Johnny Depp his job back for Jack Sparrow, and then I'll be all about it.
I really don't think he's going to go back to be with Disney. I mean, he even said
needs to buy
if
out.
they offered me so many millions of dollars and 100 alpacas, I still wouldn't go back. And they even brought alpacas to the courtroom, outside the courtroom. People, like
really?
fans, showed up with alpacas at the courtroom and they were taking pictures of the alpacas.
Okay, so I need to get rid of that dream.
I don't know. I'm just gonna hope that he's gonna be in Beetlejuice, and
Be good with that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, did you have an informant this weekend?
Okay, April. I just got off the phone with a local informant.
Okay.
This is a source that is very close
Are
to
they in
the
your-
story. Oh, can you please disturb?
It was,
The
but I think
podcast?
when it's Trent, it's not disturbed.
Oh, he's on your do not. He's on.
Fine,
your
I'm
list.
recording. I'll call you back. I didn't want anything. Bye.
Little suspicious. Okay, I did not remember from after a week later, after we've already discussed this episode. I had no idea who these people were when
Okay.
my informant told me about this, because
Yes.
I was like, I don't remember.
You don't remember the names?
So apparently there's Quentin and Tammy Harlan,
Yes.
who were in the story. They were good friends with David Temple and
Belinda. Yeah.
I was just, so this Quentin and Tammy Harlan are from Waco, or they're not from, they were in Waco.
Yeah.
They
Remember
were
I told
both
you they were at Midway.
Okay, yeah, at Midway. Well, Tammy Harlan was coming home from somewhere. She was driving. She had been drinking. I believe she ran a stop sign and she hit this kid, a Baylor student. The Baylor student died and she left. And I remember also hearing about this lady from another friend several months ago. And I was like, I've never heard of this, where a lady hit a student and the lady ran. I mean, I was like, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all these things are coming back in my head. And I guess she just recently got indicted. There was somebody had sent an anonymous letter to the police saying that it was her. And like, she had went to like Marlin or somewhere to get her car fixed. And she said she thought that she hit a homeless person.
Oh, because
That's so
they're-
much better.
Gosh. That's worse.
So I know it says she was, I didn't get to, we just kind of, my informant was just like, I know this person, was in this group with her, and that is who was in your story. And
it was probably Bunko, because they played Bunko real big.
oh, did you say that in the story?
I didn't say it. I left it out that's how she played Bunko every Thursday, her and Belinda. Like, that was her thing. So I think she had a Bunko Waco
Was
team.
Belinda?
And
My
Bunko
informant could be part of this Bunko group.
Probably so. Oh, I have a friend that plays Bunko.
I might need.
What
pretty
is
much.
it? I think it's a
you've
dice
ever
game.
played Bunko?
No,
I think I played it twice, and it's so fun.
Well, I was just thinking when I was reading.
She
this
might have
book,
been at this Bunko group of my friends.
She probably. Oh,
Of my informant.
yeah, I bet. So
But was Belinda in her same group? She did not say that.
not in Waco. They played in
Oh.
Houston. Belinda was already dead by the time they came to Waco. Oh my God. But okay, y'all. So part 2, David and Belinda Temple. So we ended at Belinda was found dead in her closet, shotgun to the head. She died. Baby Aaron died. She was 8 months pregnant. And so, of course, the town's talking, right? So, and remember, he was in the interview room, and they were asking him questions about his whereabouts. And when they asked for a polygraph, he lawyered up. And that's where we ended, the lawyer up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Temples hired an attorney. And this attorney was a badass. So his name was Paul Looney. He was a Houston criminal defense attorney. He defended Timothy McVeigh, a bunch of the Branch Davidians, and other horrible criminals. So he was good at what he did. They finally notified Belinda's family that she was dead. And of course, Belinda's family, the Lucas family, was distraught. They were shocked. They were devastated, right? And then the next morning, it hits the news. And so side piece Heather sees it on the news, and she is frantic. Her roommate later says she's frantic. She's distraught. And she has no idea what happened. No idea what happened to Belinda. So at Belinda's school, of course, they bring counselors in because the students are sad, the teachers are sad, and they do the medical examination on Belinda really quick. All right, so the examiner noted that there was bruising on her kneecaps, leading to the thought that she was on her knees when she was shot.
Oh no.
So when he looked at the crime scene photos, he saw that the blood splatter was at the lower part of the closet instead of at the brain splatter and the blood splatter instead of at the higher.
So he was above her shooting down at her head.
She was on her knees. And
facing away,
and the brain and the blood splatter were on the bottom part of the closet. Where she was standing, it would have been up here.
So
and
she
on
was
these clothes.
Knew she was he was had to have told her to get down on your knees, and it wasn't a surprise.
No ambush or anything.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, unless she was down on the closet looking for something, but. When you're that much pregnant.
I do drop my earrings and I have to look, but no.
No, yeah, but when you're 8 months pregnant, you're like, F that earring. Oh, it's too hard to get up and down off the ground.
Yeah.
So they also had to cut her open.
Oh, to get the baby out?
To extract baby Aaron. And then, of course, run the DNA test on baby Aaron and make sure it's David's kid, because that's a motive for murder, right?
Yeah.
If she was having an affair, then David could be pissed. So that could lead to motive. Aaron was 18 inches long, 6 pounds, and perfectly formed. So she was going to be due at any time. She was at the end of the 8 months, right? Oh my gosh. So perfectly still, perfect little baby. He also examined her hyoid bone, her throat.
Oh, yeah.
To see if she was strangled. And she was not strangled at all. The entrance to the head wound so the wound was actually like 3.5 inches. And like there's the middle of the back of your head, and it was a little bit lower, like a couple inches down. It shattered her skull, emptying all her brain matter, blowing out the right side of her face, and the bullet came in on the left side and came out through her eye. And it just like
blew her face off.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. I just could not imagine being the 911, the responders, but I mean, I know they see these things all the time, but you just get used to seeing these things.
The people on this case never got over this case. Like it's still one of those cases that like haunts them.
And I was thinking about this also whenever you sent me that TikTok of that person in Hillsborough. And it said what she sliced her kids' necks and stabbed them like all in the stomach and stuff. And I was thinking the same thing, like the responders for that.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yes. But I think, it's you sign up. You knew the job description when you filled out the application.
Yeah.
But I think some of them just stick with them. Like, okay, remember this is going back. But Zach and Addie, a lot of those police never ate meat again. When they saw like her head and all her flesh in the pan in the refrigerator, a lot of them like were vegetarians.
Oh, and like Charles Brandt when they ran out of the house and like throw up and stuff.
Yes, yeah. So I don't think it's easy on them at all.
I mean, I think the finding like the head chopped off and like those type of things is like very rare maybe to come across those things. So anything with just blown out.
I know. And then the baby part was the worst, they said. So the conclusions were the trajectory of the blast came from left to right. So came in through her left, came out the right side of her face. The cause of death was the contact wound to the head. The manner of death was homicide. And the murder weapon was a 12-gauge shotgun. And the bullet, like the shell, was the type used for hunting deer.
That's good.
So somebody with a shotgun who hunts deer. Which is a lot of people in Texas. So then the crime scene, it's all still like the next day, right? So they're still like cleaning up the crime scene, taking evidence. Well, they had to stop because David was like, I withdraw my permission. Do not search my house anymore. So they had to wait for search warrants so that they can start again. And they did really quick. And so when they searched, they found a golf shirt with the stain on it that resembled blood. So they took that. It was David's shirt.
He didn't like hide these things?
There were damp towels as if somebody had recently took a shower. So they took those because what if he was washing off?
Yeah.
And then his jumpsuits that he wears, because, he always wears Nike jumpsuits, was laid out on the chair, like it was just taken off, just kind of neatly folded. And so they bagged that in case he had that on, like at some point. So, and then they impounded her car and his truck for DNA. And in the back seat was that Home Depot bag, because remember his alibi was I went to the park, went to Brookshire's, and I went to Home Depot. Mm-hmm. So he just left that bag right there for them to see. So, but also they noticed in that truck, in his truck, that was no car seat. So you're saying you took your 0-year-old son, I think he's like 2, all across town without a car seat. And Belinda knew it. And so everybody said that Belinda would never have let him do that. Like she did put her feet down on some things, and that would have been it. Meanwhile, the Lucas family, Belinda's family, is trying to get a hold of the Temples, but the Temples just kind of ignored them. And so they had no say in their daughter's own funeral.
What?
And their granddaughter's own funeral. The Temples took control. They're all pretty controlling. And so they took control of everything. They called him and said, oh, the funeral, the viewing's this day, the funeral's this way. So they show up basically like they're guests to their own daughter's funeral. had no input.
Well, why were they throwing it, or why were they doing it? Why was
The Temples?
Yeah.
Just because it goes to the husband. So it's the husband's job once you're married. And so he didn't, they ignored the Lucas family. So they didn't call them. They didn't say, ask them for any information.
Okay,
they
that's
just
weird.
did it all themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now it's time to interview Heather because they interviewed people at school and it kind of came out, well, we think he's having an affair with Heather Scott.
Hell.
Well, Heather Scott, all she had to say was he never would have killed his wife. He never would have killed his wife. But Heather's roommate said that 2 days before Belinda was killed, David professed his love for Heather, told her how much she loved her. And then 2 days later, Belinda was killed. And so they're interviewing people at work, they're interviewing neighbors, and just some things came up was that he was having an affair. He does like to hunt, but he never has said anything bad about his wife besides calling her fat every once in a while. They can't think of anything that would want to hurt him or anybody that would want to hurt him or her, but their marriage was in shambles. And that Belinda never would have let David take Evan out when he was sick. So the story of, oh, he's going to the park and doing all this stuff, Belinda would have never let him do that. But they also found that there's actually is some jewelry missing. So remember the crime scene, and he said it was a robbery, but all this jewelry left on the table, on the dresser, his rings and all, wedding ring and all this stuff. Well, there was jewelry missing, and things that were logged that were missing was a silver necklace of Belinda's, a sapphire and diamond earrings, and a bracelet with Evan's name on it. All Belinda shit. Nothing of David's was stolen. So David's championship ring was out, not stolen. His gold necklace, not stolen. His wedding ring, not stolen. Cash, not stolen. So to me, it's just a little suspicious that only Belinda's shit was stolen if it was a robbery. Like, who gives a shit whose jewelry it is? You could pawn it all.
Yeah. Well, he obviously was giving it to Heather.
Yeah. Or just staging it like, it's like, where is it?
I don't know. I just am like, how do they know what specific pieces of jewelry were missing? Like, how do they know what her jewelry was?
So you have to log. So David reported what was missing.
Oh, because I'm like, if nobody would know if anything's missing in jewelry,
So David reported what like is normally in there, and so I guess they go through it, and then you have to like show that you actually had possession of these things. So there's a receipt here or there, or you can go to Case Jewelers and see that.
Oh my gosh!
There was Belinda bought some sapphire earrings. So it's just weird that it was Belinda shit. So they're like, we wonder if Evan saw something. Let's bring in a child psychologist.
How old is he?
I think he's 2? Maybe 3?
What is he 2-year-old going to know?
But people know how to get it out of him, right? So, but a psychologist didn't witness, or like in her little session that she didn't think that Evan went through anything traumatic. And so they were like, well, he could have just been outside. He could have been.
Yeah, where was he during it all?
He could have been asleep. According to David, they were gone. But if David was there and Evan was there, he could have been asleep. Because remember, he was on Motrin. He could have been already like in the car. He could have been whatever.
Yeah.
But the psychologist was like, it doesn't seem like he's gone through anything traumatic.
Yeah.
So then they brought David in and put him under UV lights. And they made him strip naked, and they looked everywhere, every crack, every crevice, like open your mouth, do your lips like this, open up your eyelid, because blood would have splattered.
Yeah, all over
And
him.
even if you wash it off, the UV light will still pick it
find it?
Still pick it up. I know. But they didn't see anything. not like a speck of blood on him. So
Guess he was wearing a mask.
they even looked at cameras of Brookshire's, Home Depot, and he was there like he said he was at the time that he said he was.
Oh.
And there was just really nothing. They weren't finding anything.
No.
There was a little break in the case. And the break in the case is when they were interviewing neighbors. One of the neighbors said that their young boys, said that they heard a firecracker or a gunshot the day Belinda was murdered when they were watching, after school, when they were watching Dr. Dolittle.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, back then you didn't like put in a DVD or like push play on Netflix. You watched what was on TV at a scheduled recording time, right? So Dr. Dolittle came on at this time. They said that they heard it at this point of the movie when Eddie Murphy was like walking the dog. They got really detailed, right?
Yeah.
So the investigators were like, okay, that part comes in 27 minutes after the movie starts. If that is when she was killed, if that was the gunshot they heard, we have video of David at Brookshire's, so it couldn't have been him. So they kind of felt like they took a couple steps back.
Oh.
But then also it's like, can you really trust little kids? Could it have been a car backfire?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not really.
Every time I hear
Were
that,
they
and
reliable?
I'm in the backyard, and I heard this happened yesterday, and it was like a vroom car, and like dogs were barking, and it like backfired, and I was like, I'm like, somebody just got shot. What time is it? Where am I when I heard it? If I'm going to have to be a witness, am I going to have to go talk to the cops? I'm going to know where I was, what time, if I heard any screams.
Yes.
Listen.
So good. I love that paranoid personality.
I'm all about it. I hear like kids playing and like screaming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is somebody getting abused? Who's getting abused?
Parker, let's go see what's going on.
Let's go check it out. Let me go see what Ross is doing. He can come with me.
So they're not finding anything. And so they know their smoking gun. What they need is that 12 gauge shotgun. But where the hell is it?
Where's the gun?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's time for the funeral. The funeral finally happens. And this whole time, the Lucases have been supportive of David, even though they didn't let him help plan the funeral. But they were like, David's such a great husband. They have a perfect marriage. Why are y'all investigating David? You need to be spending time on the real killer. But remember, they were estranged.
Yeah.
And they never came around. So they really didn't know what was going on.
They really didn't
The
know.
sister knew and the brother knew, but they didn't know. But at the funeral, they kind of start changing their mind. They see him at the funeral. No obvious signs of sadness or distress or anything at all. His parents were distraught. David's parents were so sad. And even the brothers were sad, but David, not at all. And he was even seen like laughing and cracking a joke during the funeral. And then it came out, then he admitted to everybody that he had an affair. And so the Lucases are like, maybe he's not the best guy that we thought he was. Maybe we need to be a little bit suspicious. So they kind of turn on David a little bit. So Heather now becomes the Barbie bitch. So everybody in town's calling her the Barbie bitch because remember, she does herself up all perfectly.
Yeah.
Tall blonde. But nobody likes her because she's the side piece of the woman of the woman who just got killed. Mm-hmm. So now she will refer to her as the Barbie bitch.
Oh no, poor Heather.
Right after the funeral, David gets his $60,000 insurance policy, which isn't a lot now, but it was probably a lot more back then. David sells his pickup truck and buys a brand new Chevy Silverado. And guess who's seen riding in it?
Heather, Barbie bitch.
He moves all his shit out of the house, but doesn't move Belinda's. And Belinda's friends have to come and move all her shit for her and like get it to the family. Why are you still being an asshole like after she's dead? How do you say, oh, I'm only going to move mine and Evan's stuff. Somebody needs to come get Belinda's.
Yeah,
that's ugly. So he sells the house and he moves back in with his parents. while Tammy Harlan is packing some of Belinda's stuff, she sees a box of shotgun shells. But she doesn't say anything. And Quentin sees a box of shotgun shells. And they don't really say anything with it. And I just wonder, could this have been the smoking gun? Like if these shells match the type of bullet that killed Belinda, could that have linked him to the crime?
The police surely would have seen those.
I don't know how they did it.
They had to have.
And it didn't come up until later. It never came up until way afterwards. Okay, so it comes up later on, right? When they finally are like, for sure that David did it. And then, so the police go and search the storage where all their stuff is, and the shells are missing.
Listen, that Tammy
So
Harlan,
they missed them.
she's on my list.
We don't even trust her anymore.
I don't trust her.
We should have said that at the end so people trust her at least during this.
Well, I need to know more about her.
So he goes back to work, which is crazy to me, but there's no really evidence that he's guilty yet, you know?
Yeah.
Goes back to work. He's coaching, he's teaching, he's holding hands with Heather. He's like living his best life. He is not a
They're
widower.
holding hands and everything. And how long is this?
It's the next day, basically. It's like a week after.
Oh, hell.
But we got a suspect. They got a tip that there's a suspect.
Oh, anonymous tip, an informant?
An informant in the WBI.
I forgot about that too.
It was about their neighbor, Belinda, David and Belinda's neighbor. There's a student that was one of her students named Joe Sanders.
Oh, hey, Joe.
And he was this thin, young boy who had a reputation of smoking pot, skipping school, and he was about to be sent to alternative because he's missed like 131 days of school. There's only 187.
So he literally went to 2 days of school. So he's a good student.
He was a great student. One time, Belinda visited his house and told his parents that his music is too loud and her little kid can't go to sleep. And then another time, she visited and told his parents that he is about to not get his credits because he's missed so many days. And so those were the two reasons that people say that Joe could have been pissed off and he could have been the one to kill Belinda.
The pothead kid?
Yeah.
He's too busy. He don't care.
No.
He's sitting there smoking
You don't give a
pot.
shit
He don't
when
care
you're
about
that
anything.
No. But when they talked to Joe, Joe lied about his whereabouts at the time of the murders.
Joe, he was probably hooking up with some other teacher or something. I don't know.
Joe told them that he was at school all afternoon.
Oh, Joe, you weren't at school.
That was a dumb lie, Joe.
Joe, we know you weren't
And
at school.
actually, Joe had left by lunch and hadn't been back.
Joe.
So they're like, okay, Joe didn't want to admit that he was skipping school. Doesn't mean he murdered the teacher. And then 2 days later, there was a shotgun found in the ditch.
Oh.
Near the neighborhood in a jewelry box.
Oh, no.
How?
Why would he put the jewelry box?
In a ditch. The shotgun was kind of rusted, like it'd been out there for a little bit. So nothing in the jewelry box matched what was supposedly missing of Belinda's. But they took in the shotgun, and the shotgun had some initials, and the initials were HRG, Howard Robert Gullett. He was the boyfriend.
Oh my gosh.
Of Corey Reed, who is Joe Sanders' best friend. So Joe Sanders' best friend's stepdad, it was his rifle. So they're saying, well, if it's Joe's best friend, I'm sure Joe goes to Corey's house. He could have had access to this shotgun. I said rifle. To this shotgun. Is this the shotgun that killed Belinda? So now they're like, we're not going to sleep on Joe yet. Like, we're not sure if he can do it, but we're going to do his full investigation. So they brought him back in for questioning, and he admitted he did skip school that day, but he was actually around all his weed, what's it called, dealer's house, trying to get some weed, and he couldn't score. And so he walked home, fell asleep at 4:30 on the couch, and woke up at 6 o'clock when his dad told him that the neighbor was dead. They interviewed Corey Reed, which was the best friend, and he explained that they did steal his stepdad's shotgun, but they would go like in the wood or in this field and they would just shoot. And so that's where they would hide it.
Oh, okay.
And every time they go out, right? So young kid shit. But this started rumors that the boys could have gotten high, could have been pissed at Belinda and went over there and robbed the house and shot Belinda.
That's going a little far, but I guess.
It is. It is. But they were so cooperative, you know? So they were like, let's shut this down. Give us a polygraph. So they gave them a polygraph, both boys. And deception was detected. So they failed some of the questions on the polygraph.
I never take a polygraph.
But it's not admissible.
Doesn't matter.
But they said the kids were high when they took the polygraph.
Of course they were.
It makes you a little panicky or not panicky at all.
No, it should make you not. You shouldn't have.
I got high and I'm full panic. Full panic.
I guess you can be paranoid. You're just like, your reactions are slower.
Yeah. And so they were like, maybe we need to give this to them when they're not high. They were also in special classes. That's why Belinda was their teacher. Remember, she's a special ed teacher. So they had to bring in another special ed teacher and basically accommodate the test questions for them. And so after they were not high and the test questions were like rearranged so that maybe they could understand them more, they passed fine.
Oh, see, that's what I would need.
And then there was no evidence tying them to the house, the crime scene at all. And then you just think about it. Look how meticulous the house was. So if these high teenagers were going in, the drawers would have been pulled out and thrown, and at least it would have been messed up in there. Remember, the drawers were just pulled out, but the clothes were
still perfect.
Perfectly folded in there. Teenagers wouldn't have gave a shit about that.
No.
OCD David Temple would have.
Yeah.
So they said this murder was like calculated and planned. It wasn't random.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't look like teenagers did it. So you're kind of moving off of Joe Sanders a little bit, right?
Leave Joe alone.
And so at this time, the blood splatter, the blood on David's shirt came back, and the golf shirt, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Belinda's blood. It's his. He could have like cut himself shaving. He could have done anything. So no reason. Still no. You know, they thought maybe that'd have been some evidence. Still no evidence.
Nothing.
The detectives were like, he did it. He's got a motive. He
can't
had
find
opportunity.
anything. They can't find
but nothing. So they did have this 22-minute gap of time that was unaccounted for, that he could have gotten rid of whatever evidence. You know what I mean? Because he went this place, and this place, but there was 22 minutes that were unaccounted for. And they were like, what happened on this 22 minutes? And when somebody came in and they said, well, we didn't see David when we saw David that day, the day of the murders at this time, he was by his parents' house near the rice fields. Remember, parents live on these rice fields.
Mm-hmm. And
there's like miles and miles of land of rice fields. Could he have dumped the shotgun and maybe his clothes there and the jewelry there? Because that's what we can't find. But it's so much land, they need a reason to search it, and they haven't searched it yet. Well, actually, they do search it. And they search it. They get like deputies, they get detectives, they get inmates. They're walking 10 miles a day, searching and looking, and they just find nothing. Nothing. That's like swampland over there. They run into alligators. They have found no gun, no anything that would have come from Belinda's house. And now it's Valentine's Day, and David sends Heather a great Valentine's gift.
Turquoise jewelry.
That's probably what they wore back then. turquoise chunky jewelry
Belinda's turquoise jewelry that was missing.
with sapphire.
And now a word from our sponsors.
RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
All right, so they go to every store in the area, and they were like, if we can't find the gun, maybe we can find a record that David has bought a gun, or that somebody in the Temple family has bought a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to all the places in so many mile radius, and nobody in the Temple family has bought a shotgun in the last so many years. So then that didn't even work. And so they were like, here's the thing. We can't take this to trial now, but we don't want people to forget what's going on. So that's when you take it to grand jury. And I think that's when you just kind of like record everything. People go and give their statements, and they have it just on the back burner.
If they have enough evidence to take it to trial, right?
Yes, but if you don't, they have it at least all recorded, because if it doesn't go to trial until later, people don't forget.
Oh.
So at least you just have it recorded and documented and stuff now. So they do that. And the Harlans go and they testify.
Mm-hmm.
And when David finds out, he's pissed. So then he starts to like bully and follow them. So he's like following
they had a
Tammy
choice.
when she's
they?
by herself. He felt like they did.
I don't know.
I don't know how it works, but he was pissed at them. So he starts following Tammy whenever she's with the kids by herself, driving up by her and like speeding. And they think that he broke in their house.
Okay, but
at
what
one
is
point
he
in
mad
time.
at them for?
For testifying, because
And
he has
if he's
somebody.
innocent,
He has some. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Why are you mad?
right? You should be like, yes, let's go. Let's all figure out what
Please.
happened.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like he's not, and the Temple family is not asking questions. It's either at least Brandon Beavers was like, yes, okay, give me all the question, rule me out so that you can get to the real killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least Brandon Beavers was saying that. David's like,
Yeah, because he knew a hitman he knew he hired a hitman for it.
David was like, what does it matter if we find the killer? It's not going to bring her back. What's the point? Why would we waste our time?
Okay.
Why am I going to worry about that? That was his.
Because he killed your
thought
wife.
process. You killed your wife. There's a $10,000 reward out for Belinda's. Any information linked to her death, and the Lucases are like just pissed because they're like, why aren't we getting any closer? They called Texas Rangers, they called the FBI, they call Unsolved Mysteries. They were turned down by everybody, and so they're just putting the heat on the police there, the Katy police, like solve my daughter's crime. It's January of 2000, and so it's a year later, and her name is now erased from the open homicide list and is moved to the cold case. So now it's being kind of worked on, but not really. And Heather and David become more serious. So he's meeting the family. Evan's basically calling her mama. And they get married 2 years after Belinda's
I
death.
just get real pissed when these people get married so fast.
2 years. And they buy a house, and Belinda is officially Heather is officially Evan's stepmom.
Okay, good. Way to go,
Yes.
Heather. You're really doing good.
In 2002, another pregnant lady goes missing, and her name is Lacey Peterson. And she was also 8 months pregnant. And Scott Peterson was also having an affair with Amber Fry. And both cases were so similar, but they were all over TVs, magazines,
All over TV.
newspaper, like it. But what that did for Belinda is it sparked new interest, because now people can see, oh wait, maybe a husband can
Well, you know what's
kill their
interesting is
8-month-old
like
wife.
these people, they were both white.
Mm-hmm.
They both seem to have money, or
Yeah, like middle
so they're
normal class
like
family.
Yeah. What causes one to get attention and the other not? Are they both good looking? I mean, I know the Petersons are, but are these?
Yeah.
So, because you think about it's a race
All
thing,
around, yeah.
but it's
And it's like, is it
or
because it's
if
California?
you're wealthy, or like what is?
And you can't even say blonde, because Belinda's more blonde and Lacey
Yeah.
was brunette. But you said last time, like, maybe it's because she went missing first. So now you
Right.
first you got this missing case.
So then it's
turned
missing person.
murder.
Yeah, that's what's probably what it was.
And then you know what else happened is Ray Caruth story that we
yes.
did had Sherika killed. So now people in the community are like, wait a minute, athletes? Because first they couldn't see that David was a star athlete. He was a football player. Like, he's hometown hero. He couldn't do this. So they couldn't see him as a murderer. But after Scott Peterson and after Ray Caruth, you got an athlete and you got a husband and daddy. So yes, he's capable. So what's crazy is this is 2002-ish, 3-ish, and that jumpsuit of David's that they got out of the house years ago finally came back.
Oh,
They had it tested for GSR.
gunshot residue. I was going to ask about
Yes.
where's the gunshot residue testing?
I guess they were that busy.
They didn't
that
test
backed up.
They never tested his, like him.
I don't know if you could test. It's back. This is like 2000, so I don't know what they could do
I mean,
then.
that is about
The
20
other
years
day.
ago.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what you could do then.
I know.
But they were testing the clothing, and they found out that he had gunshot particles on his shirt, his pants, his jacket, and his shoes that he had on that day. So there's their smoking gun. Say yay.
It took a year,
Oh, no, this happened in 99. It's 2003.
2 years, 3 years
Yeah.
to get that
To get that
test?
back. Yeah.
I'm just impressed that I knew what GSR was.
I mean, you watch way too much court and crime shit to not.
Clearly,
Gunshot residue.
basically a detective.
So
Cheers.
they even went further and tested Belinda's clothes and saw that his GSR matched her GSR. So there's a match to Belinda's clothes and David's clothes. So yay. So now it can go to trial because they got some good evidence. So enter Kelly Siegler. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No.
She's the
Probably
lady
her
from
name.
Cold Justice.
Okay.
If you Google her, you'll probably recognize her face. But she had
I'm
a show
listening, but I'm
that
gonna
comes
Google her.
on TNT.
Okay.
She was a Harris County prosecutor at the time.
Okay.
And they hired for David, Dick DeGuerin, who was another badass. So you got badass lawyer. And he did the case prosecuted the case for, no, was he the defense? Was the defense attorney for Robert Durst. Do you know that story? I know the name.
Yeah, he just died.
Did he just die?
They just did his trial recently.
Yes, but
And
I
then he
didn't know
died.
I didn't know what the trial. I didn't really pay attention to what he did, but he murdered and dismembered somebody and stuffed them in a trash bag, and he got off.
Yeah, and then he went back to trial, and this is what he looked like.
Oh shit!
It looks like he just came out the casket.
Came out the casket to go to trial, and he's gonna go back in.
This is him in trial with his damn mask.
So,
He was like a millionaire or something.
yeah.
I-
Look at Kelly Siegler.
Yeah, I didn't recognize her.
No? Okay. So, they hired Dick DeGuerin. They've got Kelly Siegler. But David's lawyer found a way to throw out that GSR evidence.
Of course they did.
Because the
they
person
did their
who
job.
did it, yeah, he did. He's
Yep.
doing his job. The person who did it actually got their license to do that taken away, and the way that they did it is no longer a best practice way to run it. So they had to rerun it, and they expedited it this time. And the only GSR that came back was just on a shirt. But they're like, that's fine. We'll take it. Let's still go to trial.
Yeah.
9 years later, after the murder, the trial starts.
Jeez. 9 years?
9 years after the murder. So it's a badass trial. They go back and forth, badass against badass. And it's really a 50-50 shot. Like, David could get off. David could be guilty. Like, there's not great evidence for or against him.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Everyone testified, including the guy that said he saw David at the stoplight by the rice fields where they think he could have got rid of the shotgun. And including a guy that went to high school with David that said that David did get a 12-gauge shotgun for one of his birthdays and that he saw it and they used to hunt with it all the time. So now you got somebody that's placing a 12-gauge shotgun in David's hands. But they brought Ken Temple, David's dad, and rebutted after that. And Ken Temple says, for God, put his right hand up and said, actually, the oldest son got a 12-gauge shotgun, and the youngest son got a 12-gauge shotgun, but David is the only one that didn't. He got a 20-gauge shotgun because that was cheaper. And so that was his way of saying, sorry, David still doesn't have a shotgun. So whether that's true or not, I don't know how that makes any sense.
It's still a shotgun.
It's still a shotgun, but the murder weapon is a 12-gauge shotgun.
Oh.
So you have to have a 12-gauge shotgun.
Okay. Well, so he got... Okay.
David even got on the stand. He has gained 50 pounds, so he doesn't look as good as he did before. I need to show you.
Is he still married to Heather?
Yes, married to Heather.
Wow. Did they have any kids?
No. They never had kids because
She was afraid he was going to kill her.
they always had this murder case over their head. Okay, so let me see images. You remember what he looked like when he was young, right?
With that big neck.
Yes. Oh, images. This is second trial. So he still looks good. He's just a little bit older, right? So he got on the stand and he assured the courtroom that he loved Belinda and Aaron very, very much. He also said that he did not tell Heather that he loved her and that was a lie. But so the prosecutor, Siegler, got up there and she was like, if you were so sad, if you loved your daughter and your wife so much, how come you had no blood on you? How come you didn't bend down and hug on your wife or try to wake her up or try to administer CPR or shake her to see if she was alive? You didn't have any on your shoes. You didn't have any on your clothes, on your knees or anything. Why? If you were so sad and you loved your family so much, why didn't you do that? Why were you so clean?
Yeah.
And he said, and remember on the 911 call, he said that he checked the pulse. So when he bent down, he said, well, I just put my weight on Belinda's back. So he put his hand on Belinda's back and braced himself to check the pulse so that he didn't get dirt. So that he didn't get blood on him.
She was leaning on her, she was on her side. So that
on her side. Yeah. No, it doesn't make sense, but it makes you look even more shitty.
Yeah.
You know, you put all your weight on your dead pregnant wife or supposedly dead pregnant wife. Joe Sanders got on the stand, and he was living in Arkansas at the time. So he came back and he testified. He was calm. He was cooperative. He admitted to everything, that he skipped school, that he's smoking pot. He even admitted to knocking down their Christmas decorations one year. But he said he felt so bad that him and his friends went and put them back up. And he was just adamant that he would never hurt Belinda because she was good to him.
Yeah.
So closing statements came in from both parties, right? David's lawyers, Dick DeGuerin, he was just basically got up there and he was like, I'm sorry, but you don't have enough evidence. You cannot say without a reasonable doubt that David did it. You can't even say that Joe did it because Joe's like the other person, you know? So that only means that he gets off, you know? Siegler gets up there, Belinda's lawyer, and she's like, you know what David did. In your heart of hearts, in your mind of minds, he did not attempt to help his wife or daughter. The woman that says that he didn't love, Heather, he's now married to and is being the stepmom for Belinda's son. You see that he got what he wanted. He wanted his wife dead, and he wanted his new girl, and he wanted his new life. So I know.
She went.
She did badass. She went there. November 15th, 2007. 10 hours they deliberated. What do you think it is?
Well, it doesn't seem that long. I mean, is that long?
I mean,
for a murder case, like, what is the typical time? Because I don't know. I guess, because, you know, the shorter it is, it's always guilty.
Yeah.
The longer it is, typically. It took them longer to determine Johnny Depp's Amber Heard trial. So
they did?
Yes, it took them several days.
Wow.
I mean, I'm going to say he's guilty because I hope he's guilty. So
guilty!
Yes! We do not have a Casey Anthony story.
We don't.
I bet he was shocked.
He was so shocked. Him and the Temple family and even the lawyers, they were so sure.
I bet they were all because they were
so sure. They were like, on what evidence? Which really it is like, on what evidence?
Yeah.
Besides, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Which I think if they would have came in with like, yeah, he's an asshole. Yeah, we don't like him. Yeah, he cheated on his wife. But did he kill his wife? I think they kind of should have went in with that. But anyways, so death penalty was off the table. He got life in prison. So 9 years after Belinda and Aaron died, they finally get justice. And of course, the Lucas family's so excited. And now Evan is being raised by Heather in the Temple family.
Oh, gosh.
Which is really sad for him because he lost his mom, he lost his sister, and now he lost his dad. So he's probably like 11 by now.
Oh, the kid.
Evan, yeah.
He lost his mom, he
Belinda,
lost his baby.
lost his baby sister, and now he lost his dad.
Well, you know, when he probably didn't, if he was only 2, he probably
didn't remember really.
Yeah, didn't remember much. I mean, obviously it doesn't make it any easier, but it kind of does.
It does for him, yeah. I know. It's sad. Okay, so he will not be eligible for parole until 2037. The end, right?
2037.
Yeah, except for there was a curveball.
What, did he appeal it and stuff?
He was 9 years into his sentence, and his conviction was overturned.
I don't ever like that.
That's why I needed a part 2. Overturned because...
Oh, this was a trick. It wasn't the end.
It wasn't the end. The end, not the end. Just joking.
I cannot. Okay, so he's been in there for how long at this point?
9 years. He was free 9 years.
And now he's been in 9 years, and they did the appeal. I'm assuming they did that appeal to get to where you could overturn it?
I guess. It's overturned.
However that works.
Because the defense team said that Badass Siegler, withheld hundreds of pages of evidence.
Of what? They didn't have any evidence, I thought.
Could have led to other suspects, and she did. So she ended up having to go in front of the bar.
Oh, hell. She lost her license?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think she had to fight for it. And then he said that This bitch just wanted this case because she wanted to leverage her TV show called Justice.
She wanted to be famous.
And that's how she got on TNT, which it's a good show. My mom loves her. So in 2019, the other day, Temple was retried. Here's what's crazy. When me and my book club, we did this for one of our stories. And then we were reading the book, and then he goes on this retrial. So then we're like reading the book, and then it's watching the retrial or whatever.
Oh, because that book looked real old.
Yes, it was old, but we were just reading it.
Yeah,
then.
but you couldn't have had the updated stuff.
No, no.
Oh,
So
all that reading.
when the retrial came that same month,
I wonder if
guess
it
who
was
filed
televised.
for divorce? It was
David. Heather.
Yes.
Oh.
But she still supported
She was still
him?
married to him 9 years in prison. You know she's been cheating on him.
Probably.
Unless they
She
got
later
conjugal
admits she was very insecure. That's why she was all done up all the time. Usually, that's the biggest sign that you have insecurity
don't marry
problems.
this guy who is tied to this. Could be murder, could not be after a
She's
year
wanted,
or
feel
two.
wanted. Yeah. So she filed for divorce, and on the second trial, he was found guilty again.
Oh.
So he's guilty.
Okay,
Like,
so this is not the double jeopardy thing that we talked about before? We need to figure out what double
because
jeopardy
it
is.
was the other one was overturned, so it's like it didn't even happen. So it's a new jury, new trial, new everything. But there's the trial, and then there's the sentencing phase.
Yeah.
The jury was deadlocked at the sentencing phase.
The jury does the sentencing too? I don't think so.
Yeah. Hello, I was jury foreman.
Wait, but you have to wait a while, don't you, to do the sentencing? Or no?
There's usually like
it
that little
different?
character phrase. Well, when I was on it was right afterwards.
Like the next, you
Sentence,
decided
you say
guilty or innocent, guilty, and y'all also deliberated
And then
about.
you go back. Then the judge tells you, here's what he could be or she could be convicted for. Here's what felony means. But
it was within that same
means.
time period. It
Yes.
wasn't like a month break or something.
No.
Well,
On big cases-
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
She's gonna have her sentencing not till it's either June 20th or July 28th. But she was convicted a few months ago, and then she's not going to be sentenced until
right now.
So
And I think on big, maybe
federal cases, it's different.
Yeah. This was just like a felony case here in Waco, Texas. So we did it literally right afterwards.
There's probably
when you go in there, you have to agree on how they're going to be punished. So his was, should he get off for probation, time served? He's already done 9 years. A parole, or should he get another life sentence?
Okay, because then when they're going to do that, they're going to do the case of the shooter, the school shooter, Nicholas Cruz. They're having that trials coming up soon, and it's a life death sentence. What do you call it?
Death penalty?
Death penalty case. It's a death penalty case. So I guess the jury has already been informed that what requires you to be convicted. So maybe in that one, then they're going to decide that right away too. So
I don't know. I know that they gave us like law documents that said, if you believe it's a felony, then you have to make sure what you're saying meets this and this and this criteria. If you think it's this, it's assault falls under this.
Yeah.
But everybody in there has to agree that they get life or they get whatever.
Okay.
Like we agree on life or death. I think the judge can override like time and everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so the jury could not agree on what his punishment should be.
Oh gosh, does it have to be unanimous, or it has to be?
Yes, it has to be unanimous.
Yeah, it can't be one.
No. Jury of your 12 peers and everybody has to agree. They could not. They were deadlocked, so there's a mistrial.
Oh, hell. I can't.
Yes.
This is too much.
So a new jury would have to come in.
Third jury.
A new jury would have to come in and decide the punishment.
I just want to know who pays for all this stuff. We do.
We do.
For all these people who just murder and they just sit in jail. They go sweep the floor occasionally.
It's the justice system is broken.
Oh.
But so here's the thing is, which I would have this argument, a new jury would have to come in and decide on a punishment on a case that they didn't even sit in on the trial.
Yeah, how does that make sense?
Is that fair?
No.
So then they were like, well, then he deserves a new trial with this new jury.
Oh my gosh,
the double jeopardy.
Oh.
That's a double jeopardy. You can't
give him
retried
for the same crime.
Yes.
So he's already guilty for sure.
So he's guilty. We don't know what his punishment is. So they appealed it and they lost the appeal. And they found out that they lost the appeal December of 2021, the other day.
Literally last night.
Yes. And so if you look at those other pictures, you see him now and his hair's grown out and it's stringy and he's extra big. And so his trial was set.
Ooh, gross. Monday?
His trial was set for March of 2020, but they couldn't do it because it was COVID. So it's postponed. So that's why they did the appeal. And then they lost the appeal in December 2021. So he's sitting in jail right now at Harris County awaiting his punishment on a $1 million bond.
Oh, he ain't going nowhere.
No, because I'm sure they paid all the money for these lawyers.
And
this whole
Heather's,
time.
she's gone.
She gone.
She gone. She's moving on to the next one. He looks like a damn banana in this jumpsuit.
So do you still think he is
Yes,
guilty?
he has this meanest looking face. He
I
just
know.
looks like he hates everything about his life, which he should, but he just doesn't look pleasant.
So there's a lot of people that think David Temple's innocent. There's a David Temple's innocent page out there. A lot of people in his hometown still don't think that he does it. And their thing is, yeah, he's an asshole, but does that mean he's a killer?
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. Okay, so I still think he's guilty. Caroline still thinks he's guilty. Do you think he should remain in jail or get off with probation for this new punishment phase?
Well, I think he needs
Get his life. Remember, he got life, and he's only done.
Yeah, you have to stay in jail.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry about your bad luck. So that's really it.
Don't
There's
drop
no
the
more
soap, I
trials.
guess. I don't know.
Don't drop the soap. I mean, he's probably prison gay by now.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's it. No more trials. Like, if it's supposed to be a sentencing phase, and then we'll find out if he's going home or if he's staying in jail whenever that happens. But all the courts are just so backed up that there's no telling when that'll happen. Evan Temple, are you wondering where he was?
Yeah,
'Cause I did.
yeah.
We looked up his social media and everything. He 100% believes David is innocent.
Well, he probably should. This
And
is dad. He got married.
Heather is his mom. I mean, basically his mom.
Yeah.
He went to Texas A&M, graduated. He's a business coordinator.
Did I party with him at A&M?
Actually, I don't know. Y'all probably would have been the same age. He works at that A&M veterinary hospital.
What?
Wife named Haley. And he has no relationship with the Lucas family. No relationship with his mom.
The grandparents?
The grandparents, the aunts, the
They probably
uncles,
just never.
the twin.
Did
His
they
mom
not
is
keep
twin.
in contact with
They
him?
tried.
Oh, the dad turned him against him?
Yes.
Kind of like
And the parents
Matt
alienated-
Baker was trying to do with his kids.
Exactly. It's very, very similar.
That's just
So he's doing good. He's a very good looking little boy
Is that?
or young man. And then I looked up Joe Sanders. So I was like, where in the hell's Joe? Is he still getting high?
Oh,
He
yeah.
kind of lives low. He lives in Arkansas. He keeps his life private, but his wife and kids and living his best life. Heather used to be on social media. After this last trial, we couldn't find her anymore because I've looked her up multiple times. She is divorced, but she's staying low under the radar because people know her as Barbie Bitch.
There is a 20. Did you watch the 2020 on this? I just
I
found
think when it came out,
It's called
didn't watch it
Texas Love Triangle.
Triangle. Yeah.
Go watch it. I might have to watch that tonight.
Watch it.
It says it's a 2-hour event, so I better get some Whataburger before I go watch it.
Before you go. Oh, goodness, y'all. I know that was
Wow, what a
lot.
story. I'm still trying to find Evan to see if I was...
You didn't find his picture?
Well,
I think I got a link
I just
to
need
it.
to know if when he went to A&M, because we could have...
Had sex?
Well, maybe.
Sources again, Houston Chronicle, Cinemaholic, and Catherine Casey's book. And I am done. My goodness. I'm never doing a 2-parter again.
No, what you did was you read a book, and you get so many more details with books.
Oh, no,
and
I
you
know, I
can't,
know.
and you think they're all so important, and you can't pass them up.
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I did a book.
Yep,
so I'm
yep,
not
yep.
doing a book anymore either. I don't know what we're doing for our theme next,
Well, you know there's one more week of Guilty or Innocent.
but we 5th week. Oh, can we do random? I'm doing random.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's your turn. Whatever you want.
I know.
Whatever you want. And we have no idea what next month is going to be. We'll tell you next week because we'll plan that out right now. And thank you for coming to the live show.
Oh, yay!
Even though for us it hasn't happened yet. But thank y'all. We'll talk to y'all about it a week later. We're always a week behind.
Yep.
Anyways, hey, go on and rate and review and subscribe. We love getting messages in our inbox from you guys, but it really counts when it's on Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
So send us a message, but put it on there too. Please and thank you.
Please and thanks.
And that's it. That's it, right?
That's all I got.
Yeah, okay. So don't forget to
Stay aware.
stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Peace out.
Loud.
That was a crazy story. I can't believe he still is.
When I saw his video and like him coming in is like looks like shit, I kind of felt bad for him just a little bit.
All right. You did it. You got through another one.
Yep.
Now I gotta
Pleased your fans. Maybe.
Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.